about to listen to is from one of our refiners assembly Enugu, a ministry ordained by God for the salvation of lost souls and to moderate believers to finish well. You'll be blessed indeed as you listen. Something good is definitely about to happen to you. Happy listening.
If your amen is louder, your pharaoh shall die. Briefly, before we enter into the worship section, and I call it the greatest of all commandments. We'll look at it briefly because a lot of us have begun to forget the commandments of the law, which is very important. The modern day preachers have made us to forget. And many people will always tell us that the book of Moses has been abolished. No, sir. The book of Moses has not been cancelled, but the book of Moses has been re-strengthened by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. And that is why Jesus himself made references to the book of Moses. Jesus came to put perfections on the book written and delivered by Moses. And that is why we have a lot of churches today who goes to the extreme and some go to the other extreme without so much consideration or trying to moderate the laws of Moses. There are many Christians listening to me today who cannot recite or say offhand or by hearting the 10 laws delivered to Moses on Mount Sinai. Because we've been pushed to one extreme end. Most especially the prosperity message that has come with so much of brown envelopes. Once it's not about prosperity, it's not well delivered. And that's why we have a lot of baby Christians in the house of the Lord today, moving from pillar to post with all kind of doctrines that has put them in so much commotion. Jesus said, I have not come to abolish the book of the law of Moses. I have come to strengthen, in other words, to empower them so that it can have a better landing in our lives. The young man came to Jesus and said, Master, I have kept all thy commandments. That means from 1 to 10. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy spirit. Then love thy brothers as well. You find that in Mark 12. Then in Matthew 22. I know that most of these laws has found their escape from our hearts. Because we are carried away with prosperity messages. Listen to this. No matter how much you prosper. I was telling somebody a few days ago, with all the excitement in him to see himself in the US. And I asked him a question. I said, that US, can it be as beautiful as the street of heaven? Then his zeal for US died. We chase after shadows. That Jesus said, these things ye see are temporal. So do not waste your time chasing after them, but rather go after the eternal. I was with my elder sister about a month ago in the hospital when she was about departing from the earth to meet with the Lord. And the doctor told me that, Pastor, you know, we know you and we know, but you can say, I said, I know, I know she's going to be with the Lord. And the doctor said, thank God, you know, that there's no bother moving out to another hospital in few hours, she's going away. Then I had to sit with her, just place my hand on her forehead to wish her well and all that. Tell the son, I had to package the son away to bring him home and all that. And I imagine her leaving soon to change the world. And I imagine her just lying there, just in her coolest form, trying to depart without nothing. No money, no nothing. So at the end of the day, many of us have not been opportune to see our loved ones going to be with the Lord. And that is why the messages of the cross looks as if it's a mockery to you. It looks as if it's nothing. Because we've placed the order of priorities in our life upside down. Chasing after things that do not matter. Like I've said before, 70 years is like yesterday. Many a times I sit down. This is me of yesterday, little boy. I used to have the photographs with my friend in school. Now my little girl is becoming a grown-up girl. I'm already counting close to 50. And very soon pastor will be gone. What is life for? "70 years is just a twinkle of an eye." Think about it. Yesterday you were with the younger ones, and now the gray hairs are all over the place. Before you could jump to at least 3 meters, but now you can't even take a step up. Something is telling you, young man, you are close to the grave, whether you like it or not. So we want to look at the greatest of all the commandments, so that you know whether you are really a Christian. Because many of us, we are not what we claim to be. The word Christians began in Antioch. They saw them and they said, these ones are Christ-like. They are like Christ. So instead of saying Christ-like people, they said they are Christians. They saw the qualities of Christ. But today, Christian has become a world famous name that everybody professes to be. I'm a Christian. But do we have the qualities of Christ in us? Do we have what it takes to be a Christian? And that's why I'm going to be very, very brief with you. Let's quickly begin from Matthew, or rather Mark. Any one of the two carries the same message. The greatest of all the commandments. A lot of Muslims have been, last week alone I've read from the newspapers, it's on videos, a lot of people are converting to Islam. A lot of Christians changing over, converting to Islam. Famous people changing. And somebody was saying 9 reasons. I've forgotten his name now. One popular one said, 9 reasons why I got converted to Islam, why I'm changing from Christianity to Islam. And he gave his 9 reasons. And when you look at these things, they are quite genuine reasons, my friend. Genuine reasons. Because we've taken the message of the cross for granted. Many people are changing, converting because of what we profess to be. We do not have the qualities. You find in the house of the Lord today great liars who call themselves Christians. Cheats who call themselves Christians. Prostitutes who call themselves Christians. And like one of them said, Jesus talked about modest dressing. He said, but it is in the Islamic world we find what modest dressing is all about. That's why it's one of the 9 reasons why I'm changing to Christians, to an Islam. Is that not true? The church is a house where women come with naked breasts in the name of freedom to worship. So that's one of the reasons. So Jesus talked about modesty of dressing. He said you can see it in the Islamic world. Say one of the reasons I want to become an Islam. Even when we say dress well, some will never mark. Let's look at it. I'm going to be very brief. Woe is that man, that woman, through which another man falls. It is better that a stone is hanged upon the neck, thrown into the ocean. For it is a fearful thing for any man, any sister to fall into the hands of the Lord. Why? Our God is a consuming fire. is a consuming fire. Mark 12, the greatest. Then at the end of the day, we'll see how many people are really Christians in the house. Mark 12. I'm reading from verse 28 to 31. There's a lady who preaches on the internet, powerful, well-packaged message with powerful accent. But the two breasts are outside. And she preaches to the audience with open breasts. That's Christianity. A lot of us are on our way to hell with the pretenses that we are going to heaven. That's what they call Christianity. The Bible says, examine yourself. How many times do we carry out personal self-examinations? Examine yourself. He said, or are ye reprobates? Does it mean your conscience has been snared dead? If not, examine yourself. If you be in the Lord. Matthew 22, you can read from verse 35, but I'm reading Mark 12, beginning from verse 28. And one of the scribes came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceived that he had answered them well, asked him, Master, which is the first commandment of all? That is, which is the greatest of all the commandment? That is, of all, which one is the greatest? Look at the greatest commandment there. Verse 29. And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandment, that is the greatest of all the commandment, is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. That's how it began. And that's why if you travel to Jerusalem today, there's a Jewish language. They said, Shema Yes Arel. Shema Yes Arel. You find it at the entrances of every home in Israel, in the Jewish custom. It's written in Hebrew from left to right. We read from right to left, but the Hebrews write from right to left. Shema Yes Arel. That is, every Jewish child born in Israel must not learn any other thing, not even to say ma, or pa. No. They write, the Lord is your God and the Lord is one. Put it in a flask, cover it, and make sure the child, the first thing he pronounces in Hebrew word is Shema Yes Arel. The Lord is one. The Lord is your God. To tell you how addicted to the love of God. These are the people who gave us the religion we are practicing. Hear, O Israel, God first in all you do in the land. Shema, yes, Arel. Let's continue. The first of all the command, hear, O Israel, Shema, yes, Arel. Then look at verse 30. And thou, let's read it together. Church, everybody fasten your eyes there and read. Mark 12:30. Let's go. 1, 2. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with what? With all thy heart. That is 1. Number 2, with all thy soul. That is 2. Number 3, with all thy mind. That is 3. Number 4, and with all thy strength. Let's go one after the other. Number 1, you shall love the Lord thy God. Number 1, with all thy what? Heart. 2, with all thy. 3, 4. That's That's why we want to stay this morning. The greatest of all the commandments. Very important. You will know whether you are a Christian or not a Christian. It's one thing for us to be writing all kind of nonsense on posters when people die. Gone too soon, gone too good. You are free to write it. But you can't change the mind of the standard of heaven. You are free to write the first to enter heaven on your love posters. All the deception of men and all the deception. You are free to write whatever you like on the obituary posters. You are free to write them. Like I said on Saturday during the women's program, Adebo had a clear revelation where the Lord took him there and he saw long line entering into heaven, far away the other side, and thousands of line entering into hell. And the people he saw entering into hell are his own people he knew. And he began to wonder, where are the people he saw entering into heaven are people, the people he saw entering into heaven are people he didn't know. Then the people he knew, he couldn't find them. I said, Lord, where are my own people? He said, look at them over there. Thousands streaming to hell. This is where the heart of Christianity is. Thou! This is Jesus talking. That's why I began by people brainwashing you and letting you know that this is the latest of all Christians. This is the latest. No. Jesus' answer said the best of all the commandments. Love the Lord. Then he began to departmentalize them. With all thy heart first. The Bible says where the treasure of a man is, there will his heart be. So he said, love the Lord with all thy heart. Then thy heart with thy soul. Talking about worship. Abraham said, my master, Genesis 18, he said, Adonai, have all. You could see it from the heart of Abraham. And the Lord said, Abraham, you call me Adonai? Abraham said, yes. It's okay, Abraham. Give me thy only son, Isaac. Abraham said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You could see a man that gave God the four requirements. With thy heart, with thy soul, with thy strength, with thy might. He didn't tell his wife. Unlike many of us listening to me now, too many excuses. Lord, we love you. Lip service. He said, they draw near unto me with their heart, but their mouth, but their heart is far from me. I want us to repeat that again. Mark 12:30. Qualifications. Requirement to know. Then we'll begin to break it down. Those who love the Lord with all their heart, those who love the Lord with all their soul, those who love the Lord with all their strength. That's why the Bible says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with the whole of thy strength. Another translation says, with the whole of thy might. With the whole of thy might. I still enjoy that scripture. Let's read it once again. Mark 12:30. Let's go. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God, number one, with all thy heart, number two, with all thy soul, number three, with all thy mind, number four, with all thy strength. Is it possible to meet up with this standard? He is demanding for all thy heart, all thy heart, all. Listen to me. It is you. I've told people you will know if you will make heaven or not right from where you are sitting. This thing is not magic. There is no sudden automatic transformation that happens at the gate of heaven. No. Paul began to say right from here. He said, it is for me to die is what? It's gain. He is too sure. At the time he began to tell them, he said, but nevertheless, it might become too sorrowful for me to live now. So let me stay with you for a while. So excited. And at the point of departure, this man began to unfold mysteries of his journey afterward. His next forwarding spot of call. He began to tell them, I have finished my course. I have kept the race. I have fought a good fight. How can a man be scoring himself when he has not met God? He knew. You have God conscience in you, my sister. You have the conscience. Don't be deceived. As I'm standing here, and this mic falls from my hand and I slump now, why some of you be running up and don't say God forbid for you. I'm using myself. Don't say God forbid. Because some people, when they say, Pastor, God, don't say God forbid. And I go bagam. Some of you, my daughter say, do you think I don't know if anything happens for me now? I don't know where I'm going. Then I'm deceiving myself. Why are you deceived? Why are you in pretense?